My car is a complete car still, and it's a little late in the season. Oh, it's only the 2nd of January, but it's a little late to not have it apart, so gonna throw it on the lift and drain the fluids and start by taking out transmission, diff, and axles. The reason I say those things is transmission is from Eastern Europe, it's a Samsona, so I need to take it apart, see if there's any wear and tear on any of the gears or dog rings. When it's apart, I can show you what I'm talking about, and then if need be, I order something like ASAP so that I can put it all back together and then be set, because it might take a couple weeks, you never know. Eastern Europe's not the closest country, so Kristaps from HGK will help me with that, but it's just better to do it now than wait till the last minute. The diff is a winter's quick change. There's one sitting over there. That's actually Chris Forsberg's that we're gonna rebuild for him, or just, you know, check the backlash and whatnot in the off season for him. I want to do mine at the exact same time, so I'm doing all that type of stuff at the same time. And if I need to order a part for my winters, we do it at the exact same time. The axles, you put a lot of wear on those throughout the year. Let me show you. I have 2 sets of axles, so there's 2 in the car right now. There's 1 in the trailer still, and then there's this one. And it just, well, you're not gonna be able to tell on a video. This one has the tiniest bit of play in the ends because of, you know, clutch kicking, lots of grip, heavy car, 900 horsepower. So things, you know, tend to wear out. So we're gonna send that one back already. Most likely I'm gonna send 3 back and have them all refreshed. They don't need to be new, but I just need to refresh it, and then the drive shaft shop will go through them and then send them back. Do that now just in case they get slammed with a bunch of, you know, rebuilds and orders, and I'll get it back before March when I need my car. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pull the motor out too, because it's just what you do in a race car in the off season. Say I didn't pull the motor out, oh, we're good to go, we're good to go, and then you get to the first race and you have an issue. You'll wish you had pulled it out, so just gonna pull it out, look inside, see if it needs new bearings, that type of stuff. So we're gonna do that too, and then replace the turbo. The turbo takes a lot of abuse throughout the year and it starts to wear out, and so it's just best to replace it at the beginning of the year. So we'll get a new Borg Warner EFR 9174, get new Turbo Smart Hypergate 45 wastegates, and then put those on and check everything else as we're doing all that stuff. Check and see if we find any other issues, because every once in a while you'll find some issues, and it's just good to do this in the off season. So any of those Turbo Smart parts that you guys might want, they're on our website. Check it out. I also need to get to the fuel pumps. They're in the back. Underneath this ductwork is my fuel cell, way down in there. So probably gonna end up taking the radiator out and to get that out, because otherwise it won't come out. Got a lot of just maintenance to do, so put the car on the lift and get to it. We got the trans out, input shaft is still in there. We'll get that out later. We're not worried about that. We're worried about rebuilding the trans if we have to. We just need to open it up first and see what it looks like. So it's pretty dirty right here. This is the vent, and I chose not to put a hose on it. I just knew that when I was in 4th gear with the revs up high, there's chances are it's gonna burp some, you know, liquid, some Torco gear oil out of here, which it did. Not a lot, but a little bit. And then it kind of drains down the side, and I'll just kind of clean it each round. Next year I might put a hose off of here with like a little breather filter. That's kind of the other alternative to just leaving it open like that. Okay, so I'm gonna loosen all these Allen bolts here, take the front cover off, do the same on the back, take the back off, and after we do that, we will have an idea of what we're working with. This appears loose, but we could always test that output shaft against this display unit that's sitting here. So it does have play even on the brand new one. Not even close to the amount of play mine has, which would mean that the bearing that this guy rides on is taking a beating and starting to wear out. So that might be one of many things, or that might be the only thing. So let's open it up and take a look. Okay, so all the bolts are out, so we're gonna slide this front piece off, then slide the back piece off. See what we got going on the inside. It's a little difficult with one hand, but so what we're looking for when we look in here is heat marks on the gear, which there is heat marks on the gear. See how it doesn't look like perfect mating surface where it would mate? See how that side looks good? When you're looking at both sides of the peak, this side looks good, the other side does not. So that's not ruined, but it is now heavily used because it has heat marks. That just fell. So because of those heat marks, it's not gonna, there's more resistance and friction, and it's not gonna work as perfect as it would without the heat marks. So now, see if we can pull that back housing off. See this? Shiny metallic mixed with the oil. Not the best sign either, but I still have yet to see chunks of dog rings, which you see all the time in this type of dog box, because the human gets to like select the input instead of here. It's kind of just like mechanical. All you can do is the human controlling it is pull back on it or push forward, so it kind of does a more crisp, you know, gear engagement. Doesn't look entirely bad. Okay, so wish I had 3 arms right now. Jeff. Might need Jeff's help.
Alright. Let's watch Dan do this.
Alright. It's really light.
In your hand.
Weird, it just rides in a barrel. It's an interesting design. It's like coming, but
Normal.
just smashing our fingers. That's really weird, right?
Whoa.
Just a barrel. Just a barrel of fun.
Look at that.
Some of the sequentials are just a barrel of fun. Okay, so here, let it down.
Alright.
What
Ready?
we were looking for, like fail points, is what we're looking for. This is a slider. There's sliders, and then the dog ring is where it engages into, which is like those little notches. And we're looking for worn corners.
So worn corners, like when it's like rounded, right?
Yeah, so right now if you guys can like get as close as you can, if you can see how it like tapers inward and then has like the flat spot, we're looking for where it like tapers to be rounded on the, here, show my hand, back up. So like this guy has this shape, and we're looking for it to be rounded on these corners on either the slider or the dog ring. And there's like 0 round down areas. That's kind of weird actually. Never seen that before. That's crazy. A whole year and it looks like that. So that's a good sign. Really good.
Good job.
There is heat marks. So like when I was telling you earlier when Jeff wasn't here, so like where it looks like the grooves would like kind of, I could feel it with my fingernail as I go this way, but they're running that way in the gear. That's heat, so too much heat does that. So obviously it's gonna see heat. We're racing with it, and this transmission does not have a built-in oil cooler. You have to do an external one. I chose against doing that. Probably if I would have done it, all these gears would not have heat marks, but this isn't bad. That's like fine. You could run a whole season on it like that. I've always ran Torco oil in my Dogbox. Well, not my first Pro 2 season, but second Pro 2, I ran Torco. Noticed a huge improvement in how much wear happened inside the transmission. Then last year, I changed to a thicker 140 weight, like a 80 140 for the transmission, and then an 85 140 for the diff, and I noticed even less chunks. So, but then when you go to that thick of an oil, it's so thick at the beginning that we usually have to sit there with the car on jack stands in like first, second, and third gear or whatever, just
to
with
warm
like
it
half
out.
throttle, yeah, at like 2,500 RPM. And half the time Jeff will be doing that. He'll get the car all set up.
It's fun. I feel pretty cool to do it too.
Yeah, it would be fun. I get to do it every once in a while. If you guys have any random questions about how this works and how I know how it works and all that, just feel free to ask me. The reason I know how it works is because I've been taking apart stuff a long time. So then I take it apart, you gotta figure out how to put it back together and make it work again. Other reason I know how it works is because we have a display model right there, which the reason there's the bag is it was leaking a little bit of oil. But watch here. So as these spin, it pushes on the different sliders or on the shift forks and then moves the slider over. See that? Pretty cool. So after looking closely at everything, there's vibration happening where this kind of just seats in the side of here, but it's rubbing through the anodizing down in there, and then all the gears look good. There's a little bit of heat like we talked about. The biggest concern is that this shift fork is starting to open up. See how there's like a pretty sizable gap? Instead of it being like a square fitment, it's almost like it's the front side of it over there starting to open up, so it's not going to get as clean of a shift into that gear, and it has a chance to like walk this way as you shift, so that could cause an issue. As of yet, it has not, because it didn't even chip any of the teeth on these dog rings, but I don't know when it started to do that, if it was just recently. I can't tell when shifting, it still shifts really smooth. So that's something I gotta think about, if I should pull everything apart and put a new one of those shift forks. I would think so. So I'm gonna email all these pictures over to Kristaps, and then see what he says, and then we'll decide what we're gonna switch. But other than that, that's the inside of the Samsonis after 1 year of abuse. Pretty good, I think.